POTV Go app එක දැන්ම දාගන්න. POTV Go SLT POTV TV බලන හොඳම විදිහ.
Making headlines tonight. Identity confirmed. DNA test confirms the death of Easter Sunday attacks ringleader Zaharan Hashim at Shangri-La explosion. Report to be presented to court. Quo warranto. Court of Appeal quashes writ petition filed against Premier Ranil Wickremesinghe, challenging his parliamentary seat. No threat. 1 month after Easter attacks, renowned international terrorism expert says Sri Lankan lives and businesses can return to normalcy.
They removed the roadblocks, the checkpoints. They should have never done that. And based on my own threat assessment, the likelihood of a terrorist attack by IS has diminished.
International recognition. Sri Lankan artist Nita Fernando secures her second international award, wins Best Actress in Foreign Feature Film at 2019 Nice International Film Festival.
To make this character successful, Visakesa Chandrasekharan, the director, helped me and guided me.
All this and much more coming up tonight on First at 9, this Tuesday, the 21st of May 2019.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
IDX ඇතුළත ඉදිමීම සමනය කරන අතර විනාඩි 5කින් ක්‍රියා කිරීම ආරම්භයි. IDX දිවියට නව දිරයක්. IDX වෙතින් එසේ කැක්කුමට විශේෂඥා IDX Headfast ඉක්මනට සහනය අදම අත්විඳින්න.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
We start off our news tonight remembering those who lost their lives from the spate of explosions that rattled the island nation on Easter Sunday. It has been a month since the tragic incident occurred, claiming the lives of 250 people and injuring hundreds. Many questions were raised on who was responsible for these gruesome attacks. The existence of a terror organization with international links on Sri Lankan soil also came to light. We at AdaDerana revisited Catholic churches that were targeted during the Easter Sunday Mass on the 21st of April. Family members and victims still visit these churches to remember their loved ones who may not return again.
All eyes were on Sri Lanka in the morning of Easter Sunday after a spate of explosions at 8 locations including St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade, St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapitiya, Zion Church in Batticaloa and 3 5-star hotels in Colombo claimed the lives of 250 people, targeting many Christians and tourists in the country. It has been a month since. St. Anthony's Church in Kochikade is still under construction, with Sunday Mass having recommenced across the country 2 weeks ago.
අපේ ෆැමිලි එකේ 5 දෙනෙක් මැරිලා. පිරිමි තමයි 3 දෙනෙක්. අම්මයි තාත්තයි පොඩි ළමයාට මාස 9යි කොහොම නැති වුණා.
මේ වෙලාවේ හුඟක් අයගේ ජීවිත කඩා වැටලා තියෙනවා. මේ සිද්ධියත් එක්ක අපේ රටේ හැම ආගමක්ම හැම ජාතියක්ම මේ මොහොතේදී අවදි වුණා. එකතු වුණා. ඒ මොකක් නිසාවත් නෙමෙයි. ජාති කුල ආගම් ભેදයෙන් තොරව එකාමින් නැගිටින්නට අතහිත දෙන ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන් නිසා. වචන වලින් කියන්න බැරි වෙනසක් අද සමාජයට ලැබුණා. හැබැයි මේක අමතක වෙන්න දෙන්න හොඳ නැහැ. මේක අමතක වුණොත් ආයෙත් අපි ආපස්සට ආවි.
We also visited the St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapitiya today.
කරන්න අපිට වෙච්ච දේ ගැන අපිට හිතා ගන්න බෑනේ අපේ දරුවෝ අපේ යාළුවෝ නෑදෑයෝ සියලුම දෙනා නැති වුණෙන් පස්සේ
මින් මතුවට මේවා දෙයක් කිසිම දේවස්ථානකට වෙන්න එපා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරලා යන්න තමයි මම මේ ආවේ.
Religious activities by all major religions of Sri Lanka were observed in Zion Church in Batticaloa today in remembrance of those who died on the 21st of April.
It has been confirmed that Zaharan Hashim, the alleged ringleader behind the Easter Sunday attacks, was killed in the explosion at the Shangri-La Hotel in Colombo. This was determined after DNA samples obtained from the remains of the leader of the organization, National Tawhid Jamaat, Mohammed Qasim Mohammed Zaharan, alias Zaharan Hashim, at the Shangri-La blast, matched with the DNA of the samples collected from his daughter. The DNA test was carried out as a wave of doubt was cast over the identity of the suicide bomber responsible for the explosion at the Shangri-La Hotel, and questions were raised whether Zaharan Hashim was in fact killed in the explosion.
DNA samples obtained by the Government Analyst Department confirmed that the suicide bomber responsible for the explosion at Shangri-La, Colombo was carried out by the leader of the National Tawhid Jamaat, Zaharan Hashim. The confirmation of the identity of the suicide bomber comes following much speculation by various parties if it was in fact Zaharan who died in the explosion. This has been determined when comparing DNA samples of Zaharan with samples of his daughter and his wife. Accordingly, the Government Analyst Department stated that the DNA samples collected from remains of Zaharan at the Shangri-La blast site and the DNA of the blood samples collected from his daughter are a match. The relevant report is set to be delivered to the Criminal Investigation Department today and will later be presented to court. Several persons who are attached to the terrorist group which carried out Easter Sunday attacks were arrested in Kalmune last evening. According to Zaharan Hashim's main organizer, Kalmune Shyam was arrested by officials of the State Intelligence Service at Ampara Division. Officials of the State Intelligence Service uncovered that Shyam had escorted the group, including Niyaz, who blasted themselves in Saindamarudu, from Nindavur to Saindamarudu via coastal route. Investigations revealed that Kalmune Shyam had assisted the close accomplice of Zaharan Niyaz to find accommodation for Zaharan supporters in Samandurei, Nindavur and Saindamarudu areas. According to the report, the suspects are currently under interrogation. The 13 suspects who were arrested for vandalizing several Buddhist statues in Mavanalla were further remanded until the 3rd of June. They were produced before Mavanalla District Magistrate Upul Rajakaruna today. Following interrogations of these suspects, who were arrested last December, led to the seizure of 100 kilograms of explosives in Vanathavillu area. The Supreme Court has set the date for considering the fundamental rights petition against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and Inspector General of Police Pujija Sundara on the 31st of May. The petition was taken up before a 3-judge bench consisting of Supreme Court Justices L.T.B. Dehideniya, Buwane Kaluvihare and Preeti Padman Surasena today. President's Counsel Anuja Premaratne informed court that the former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando, who is his client, did not receive a notice with regard to the hearing of the petition. However, his client decided to appear before courts following information he found out via media. Meanwhile, the attendance of school children was marked at 60% today. Although the attendance of students were at a staggering low figure over the last 2 weeks, a number of students were seen attending schools today.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe stresses that the government will not grant approval to establish Sharia universities in Sri Lanka. Speaking to media today, the Premier went on to say that a decision has been made to bring Madrasa educational institutes under the purview of the Education Ministry.
UMP Parliamentarian Professor Ashu Marasinghe today briefed Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe on the report pertaining to recent investigations conducted by a group of parliamentarians on the Sharia University in Batticaloa.
ශාරියා විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයකට අපි අනුමතිය දෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම බලයකුත් නැහැ. අපි නීතියෙන් ඒ යොදවනවා ඒ උපාධි ආයතන ශාරියා හෝ එවැනි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයක් හැටියට ක්‍රියා කරන්නට බැරි බවට. විශේෂයෙන්ම ඒ සඳහා තවත් වගන්ති කීපයක් අපිට විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පනත සංශෝධනය කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම පාලක මණ්ඩලයේ සුදුසුකම් උත් ඒ වැඩ කොටස් කරන අනික් කරුණු කීපයක් ඒ සංශෝධන වලට ඇතුල් කරනවා. මීට අමතරව මද්රසා අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශය යටතේ ක්‍රියා කරන්නටත් අපි තීරණය කළා තියෙනවා.
Well, the Janata Vimukti Peramana today handed over a no-confidence motion against the government to the Speaker of Parliament, Karu Jayasuriya. The no-confidence motion is based on 6 allegations, including him not taking necessary measures to prevent the attack on Easter Day, despite the government receiving official intelligence information prior to the attacks.
The Janata Vimukti Peramana today handed over a no-confidence motion against the government to the Speaker of Parliament, Karu Jayasuriya. The motion is reported to have been filed based on several allegations. The first allegation levelled against the government is its failure to prevent the Easter Sunday attacks that claimed the lives of 250 people despite receiving official intelligence information. The motion also states that following the attacks, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet failed to take responsibility, only to pass the blame on to other factions. It further states that false and contradictory statements started creating confusion about the lives of the public and their security. It further noted that several ministers have obstructed ongoing investigations regarding those arrested over the Easter Sunday attacks, hindering efforts to enforce the law against them. Furthermore, the government is accused of paying inadequate attention to the communal unrest that took place on 13th of May in Gampaha and northwestern provinces in a backdrop where the government is fully equipped with a set of laws to control such situations. They also claim that although it has been 1 month since the attacks, the economy has still not recovered and school systems as well as universities are yet to fall back on track. Another accusation levelled against the government is allowing foreign nations to interfere in the country's internal matters. The no-confidence motion says that all these factors have contributed to the lack of faith in the government. Speaking at a media briefing today, the JVP elaborated further on the no-confidence motion.
ඇත්තටම ඔබ කියු පරිදි අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා මෙහි මූලිකම වග උත්තරකරු ලෙස බැලුවොත් ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ වගකීම අත්හරින්න බෑ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඕ පිළිබඳ ගත හැකි ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් තියෙන දෝෂාභියෝග යෝජනාවක්. හැබැයි දෝෂාභියෝග යෝජනා සම්මත ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම සඳහා ආවම වශයෙන් මන්ත්‍රීවරුන් 75කගේ ඡන්ද අවශ්‍යයි. මම හිතනවා අපේ දේශපාලන පක්ෂයට එවැනි මන්ත්‍රී සංඛ්‍යාව පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නියෝජනය කරන්නේ නැහැ.
The topic of the no-confidence motion against Minister Rishad Badiuddin dominated parliamentary session today. The opposition insisted that an immediate measure must be, or immediate date must be allocated for the parliamentary debate on the motion.
මේ වෙනකොට රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන් අමාත්‍යවරයාට විරුද්ධව බාල දීලා තියෙන විශ්වාසභංග යෝජනාව ඉතාම කඩිනමින්
ඒක ආද පක්ෂ නායකයන් සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. අද
ලබා දෙන ලෙස ඉතාම ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලනවා.
මේ විශ්වාසභංග යෝජනාව දිනේ 2018 ඒක ඇවිල්ලා හැදුවා ඊට පස්සේ. ඒ වෙලම හැදුවා. ඒක ගන්න බෑ. 2018 කොහමද 2019 වෙච්චව සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ? ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂ වෙනුවෙන් මම කියනවා ඔබතුමාට ඒක පිළිගන්න බෑ කියලා. හොඳයි. අපට ආරංචි අද උදේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ කණ්ඩායම් රැස්වීමේ රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන් තමුන්නාන්සේලාගේ ආණ්ඩුවේ පැවැත්මට බොහොම තර්ජනයක් එල්ල කරලා තියෙනවා. මට විරුද්ධව ඡන්දය දෙනවා කියලා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ සමහර මන්ත්‍රීවරු කියනවා. එහෙම වුණොත් මම ආණ්ඩුවෙන් අයින් වෙනවා. තර්ජනය කරාලු. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි මුජිබුර් රහ්මාන් මන්ත්‍රීතුමත් කිව්වලු මාත් එහෙම වුණොත් අයින් වෙනවා කියලා. ඒක තමයි අද පක්ෂ නායක රැස්වීම තිබ්බ දැන් ටිකකට කලින් හවස 3ට. කිරියල්ල සභානායකතුමා මොකද කිව්වේ? ඊනියා තේරින් කාරක සභාවක් දානවලු හෙට. ඒක සති 3ක් යනවලු. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි මේකට දිනේ දෙන්නේ කියලා. ලබන සතියේ දවසක් දාගන්න රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන්ගේ විශ්වාසභංගයට. ඇයි ඒකට බය? ඇයි ඒක දෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? ඇයි මේ විවාදය මගහරින්නේ? රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන්ව රකින්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව. අන්තවාදය රකින්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව. බතානායකතුමාටත් කියන ආණ්ඩුව මොනවා කිව්වත් අපට විශ්වාස භංගයට ලබන සතිය දෙන්න. එහෙම නැත්තම් මේ රටේ මහ ජනතාවත් එක්ක ඇවිල්ලා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව වටලන්න උනත් අපි සූදානම් කියන එක අවධාරණය කරමින් රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන් නැමතුමා ඇමතිවරයා එහෙම කිව්වේ නෑ. මම මෙහෙම වුණොත් ආණ්ඩුවෙන් යනවා උඹලගේ ආණ්ඩුව කඩාවට්ටනවා කියලා කිව්වේ නෑ. ඔහු කිව්වා මෙහෙම චෝදනා තියනවා නම් මම කැමතියි මේ ඇමතිකම් වලින් ඉවත් වෙන්න කියලා ඔහු කිව්වා. අපි කතා කරා. දැන් රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන් කියන ඇමතිවරයාට විරුද්ධව මොන හරි චෝදනාවක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ චෝදනාව ඔප්පු වෙනවා නම් මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ 225න් එක මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් හැටියට පැහැදිලිවම මම මේ විශ්වාසභංගයට පක්ෂවාත උස්සනවා. හැබැයි මේක උපයෝගී කරගෙන දේශපාලන න්‍යාය පත්‍රයක් හැටියට මේක අරගෙන මේ ආණ්ඩුව වට්ටන්න රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන් කියන දෙහිගැඩිය කපලා අනිත් පැත්තට ආණ්ඩුව ගන්න හදන කුමන්ත්‍රණයක් තියෙනවා නම් අපි කිව්වේ පක්ෂ නියෝජනය කරන මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ගෙන් යුක්ත තේරීම්කාරක සභාවක් පත් කරලා එහුට එල්ලලා තියෙන චෝදනාවන් වලට පූර්ව අපක්ෂපාතී පරීක්ෂණයක් පවත්වමු. ජනාධිපතිතුමාට පුළුවන් කරුණා කරලා පොලිස් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව මෙහෙवला රිෂාඩ් බදුර්දීන් ඇමතිවරයා ඕනනම් අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න නැත්නම් ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න නීතිමය ආකාරයෙන් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න.
1 month after the Easter Sunday attacks, let's find out whether Sri Lanka can return to normalcy after this short break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is AdaDerana 24.
International terrorism expert Professor Rohan Gunaratne points the finger at the government for removing security checkpoints, separating public from military and demolishing strong sections of forces to be the driving factors that led to the country towards the Easter Sunday attacks. Speaking at a briefing held in Colombo recently, the professor went on to say that according to his threat assessments, the imminent threat of an IS attack to Sri Lanka has ceased.
Let me share with you why Zaharan's group couldn't be monitored. One is when the new government came in 2015, they removed the roadblocks, the checkpoints. They should have never done that. The military was told to go to the barracks. A fatal mistake because the military was building roads, houses, helping the Sri Lankan Tamil people especially. Interaction between the nation's army saved this nation. The ordinary people was lost. It may be something the Western countries wanted. It may be something the minority political parties wanted, but the TNA wanted. But these were mistakes that we should have never made. I also want to tell you that a very senior and a very able Sri Lankan military officer who was a Muslim, who had deepest expertise on Zaharan's group, he was sent overseas. I also want to tell you that 500 military intelligence officers were either arrested or they were fingerprinted and their photographs taken. And the operating wing of the military intelligence corps, which is a very large organization, it was demobilized. The indomitable spirit that must be inculcated in the hearts and the minds of those who serve the national security sector, whether they are military, law enforcement or intelligence, that steadfastly eroded. It's a failure of collective leadership. It's a crime to have intelligence and not act. The Easter Sunday attacks was not a failure of intelligence. It's an operational failure, failure to act. Politicians played with security and security was compromised. And based on my own threat assessment, the imminent threat of a terrorist attack to Sri Lanka has ceased. The likelihood of a terrorist attack by IS has diminished. You can send your children to school. I would ask you not to make your hotels fortresses. I would also ask you to open the airport. Zaharan and others is still intact. The radicalization pipeline that produced those terrorists, they are still intact. So government will have to take far-reaching changes. But it is not only government, mostly community leaders, religious leaders, educators, those who can shape the minds of Sri Lankans today and tomorrow.
The Court of Appeal today rejected the petition filed seeking a quo warranto preventing Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe from being a Member of Parliament. The decision was delivered by a judge bench comprising Justices Shiran Gunaratne and Priyantha Fernando. Meanwhile, former DIG NALAKA de Silva, who was arrested in connection with the alleged VIP assassination plot, was granted bail by the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today.
Former DIG NALAKA de Silva, who was arrested in connection with the alleged VIP assassination plot, was granted bail by the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today. The case against the former DIG was taken up before the Colombo Fort Magistrates today, while a bail application filed on his behalf was taken up for consideration. NALAKA de Silva, the former director of the Terrorism Investigation Division, was arrested by the CID on the 25th of October 2018 over a suspected plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksha based on information revealed by former police informant. NALAKA de Silva was arrested by the Criminal Investigation Department after he gave a statement on the 25th of October last year and has been in remand custody ever since, as his bail application were rejected on multiple occasions. The magistrate claimed that there is inadequate evidence to claim that de Silva is directly connected to the plot and no voice recording proves Nama Kumara's statement. The Court of Appeal today rejected the petition filed against the quo warranto preventing Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe from being a Member of Parliament. The decision was delivered by a judge bench comprising Justice Shiran Gunaratne and Priyantha Fernando. The petition was filed by Colombo Municipal Council member Shamila Gonavala. President's Counsellor K. Kanagiswaran, appearing on behalf of Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, stated on the 12th of February that the petitioners have submitted neither original copies nor certified copies of the documents they had presented along with the petition. Stating that this is a violation of the Supreme Court's rules, President's Counsel Kanagiswaran sought the appeals court to void the petition without conducting a formal hearing. The Court of Appeal accepted this preliminary objection and decided to reject the petition without taking it up for hearing. The petition filed by Shamila Gonawala, the co-president of Women for Justice, stated that Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is a shareholder of Lake House Group and that Lake House Printers and Publishers PLC, a company in that group, is engaged in the business of printing check leaves for the state-owned Bank of Ceylon and People's Bank. The petitioner hence argued that by doing business after entering into contracts with Bank of Ceylon and People's Bank as a shareholder of Lake House, Ranil Wickremesinghe has become ineligible to hold a seat in Parliament. She stated that as per constitutional provisions under this condition, Wickremesinghe is not qualified to hold office as a Member of Parliament. She has further sought an interim order preventing Prime Minister Wickremesinghe from Parliament sitting and voting.
Taking you to business news, headline inflation, as measured by the year-on-year change in the National Consumer Price Index, increased to 3.6% in April this year from 2.9% in March 2019 due to the monthly increases of prices of items in both food and non-food categories. Issuing a statement today, the Department of Census and Statistics said that in April this year, year-on-year food inflation was 1.2%, while non-food inflation continued its increasing trend for the fourth consecutive month, recording a 7.5% in the current month. The change in the NCPI measured on an annual average basis increased to 1.9% in April from 1.7% in March. Speaking to international media outlet CNBC today, State Minister of Finance Iran Wickremaratne said that over the next 2 months, Sri Lanka Tourism Authority will seek foreign assistance in order to rebuild the tourism sector, which has seen occupancy levels drop to 20% over the past month. When asked about the impact on investor sentiment and the economy should former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa contest in the presidential election, Wickremaratne stressed that no matter which government comes into power, the economic trajectory of the current government will remain unchanged.
And 1 month on, are you getting a clearer indication of how the tourism sector, which is economically very important, 4.9% of GDP, how the tourism sector has been hit? Because anecdotally, we've been hearing that hotel occupancy is down to 20%, well below average.
Yes, so the GDP contribution is about 5%, as opposed to Egypt, which will be about 15%. So the total impact on the economy is going to be much less than in countries like Egypt. However, as you said, immediate aftermath of the Easter bombings, tourism is down. I would say over the next 2 months, as things begin to normalize, the Sri Lankan Tourism Authority will be making efforts going overseas and explaining the situation so that countries have taken 1 to 3 years to come out of this. We are hoping that we will be at the shorter end of the recovery period.
Aaron, politically, many have said that these security lapses does create fertile ground for the rise of the strongman in Sri Lankan politics. Former Defence Minister Gotabaya Rajapaksa has gone on record saying that he will run in the presidential elections in January. Do you foresee and are you concerned about a period of political upheaval and what that may do to investor sentiment and business confidence?
Recently, when we had a political upheaval in October last year, the democratic institutions came through. Parliament was strong, the judiciary was strong, and they have established a democratic government. We have elections from period to period because that is Sri Lanka's constitution, that's our democratic tradition. We will transit through elections into the next phase. And therefore, I do not think that you should have any concern about that. Governments have changed in the past, governments can change in the future, but the democratic tradition will continue. And on the economic front, I do not think whichever government is in power, that the economic trajectory that we have taken and the path that we are following will change.
Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samaravikrama informed Parliament today that a cabinet paper will be submitted next week on setting up a $1 billion steel manufacturing export plant in Trincomalee. The minister also expressed confidence that the government will be able to achieve its export targets for 2019 but gave a negative outlook on the investment climate.
As far as the exports are concerned, I am very pleased to inform you that we are still confident that we can achieve the targets that we have set for ourselves in 2019. However, as far as the investments are concerned, we will definitely not be able to achieve the targets we have set. Both the local investors and the foreign investors have been thoroughly shaken up with what had taken place on 21st of April as well as 13th of May. As far as the new projects are concerned, I mean to say that some of the new approvals that we have granted, particularly in Hampantota, for the refinery as well as the cement plant, they are continuing with the work, and the investors have told us that they will ensure that the project is implemented. I will be submitting a cabinet paper next week for setting up of a $1 billion steel manufacturing and export plant in Trincomalee, and this type of activities will certainly give the confidence that we need to ensure that our investors are back.
At the Colombo Stock Exchange, stocks closed higher for a third straight session today, moving further away from a near 7-year closing low hit last week as local investors bought beaten down stocks. And on the rupee front, the local currency ended at 176.25 cents to 40 cents per dollar today, weaker than Friday's close of 175 rupees and 90 cents to 176 rupees and 10 cents. Here's a brief report and the currency rates.
Today, both debt and equity markets reacted positively. In the bond market, following CBSL governance discussion with Bloomberg, buying interest was mainly centered on mid-tenor maturities during the morning session. With that, overall yield curve witnessed a slight downward shift. At the same time, profit taking was seen on 2024 and 2027 maturities. Stock market continued the positive sentiment from the last week, recording a weak high index mainly contributed by big cap John Keells and CT Holdings.
Sri Lankan actress wins at the International Film Festival in France. We'll bring you details after this short break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is AdaDerana 24.
Sri Lanka's very own veteran actress Nita Fernando bagged the Best Actress Award in the Foreign Language Films category at the 2019 Nice International Film Festival in France. She was recognized for her exceptional performance in Visakesa Chandrasekaram's second feature film, Pangshu. This is a second international award after clinching Best Actress Award at the 1998 International Singapore Film Festival for her role in Prasanna Vitanage's film Pauru Valalu. Now celebrating its 8th running year, the Nice International Filmmaker Festival 2019 is strategically placed a few days before the Cannes Film Festival, naturally filling the venue with a wealth of talent from around the world.
Award-winning veteran actress Nita Fernando clinched her second international award on Sunday at the 2019 Nice International Film Festival in France. With a career spanning over 50 years, she had contributed to nearly 70 movies with outstanding performance and helped change the landscape of local film industry with characters that Sri Lankans still choose to adore after decades. Fernando, however, says that the role in Visakesha Chandrasekaram's film Pangshu, for which she garnered the award, to be her most difficult role thus far.
To make this character successful and to get me this award today, I owe a lot to Misakesa Chandrasekaran, the director and the writer and the producer of this film, who helped me and guided me to do this character so well. In fact, he really asked me to do something which I didn't even do in my life, swimming, which I had to learn in a hard way because this Baba Nona's character is near a river. He had to use the river for so many scenes.
Pangshu is based on the story of a mother seeking justice for her son who had been abducted by paramilitary men during the 1988-89 insurgency. Along with the Best Actress award in the Foreign Feature Film category, the film also saw Kumara Karavdeniya winning the Best Costume Designers award at the event on Sunday. This is the first time that a Sri Lankan had won an international film award for costume designing.
This kind of movies are not made very often because the problem is this is very expensive, and at the same time we have to have a good theme to cater Sri Lankan as well as international audience. I think this theme is very, very powerful. That is another thing for this success. There are so many young filmmakers who want to do good films, and unfortunately they don't get much help as financially. That is why they are unable to create what they want to create. Wish that in time to come our film industry will be accepted overseas more than this, and our talented artists, there are so many talented artists that we have, will get a chance like me.
Well, the second ODI of the Sri Lanka tour of England and Scotland at Edinburgh is currently underway. Scotland is chasing a score of 322, a target of 323 set by Sri Lanka. Scotland is currently at 115 for 3 wickets. And earlier in the day, Captain Karunaratne and Avishka Fernando built a partnership to score 123, with Karunaratne securing 77 runs while Fernando secured 74 runs. Find out all this and much more on the developments on the very latest from around Sri Lanka and across the world on www.AdaDerana.lk. I'm Indivari Amorth. Good night.